or redundant, that there are needs omitted, or that the list is not categorized properly. That's fine. In fact, feel free to add to, subtract from, combine, and reorganize the needs on this list. Doing so will be an excellent way to begin thinking about your own personal needs. Physical needs. From the moment you're born, you need clean air to breathe. You won't survive long without pure water to drink and nutritious food to eat. To these you can add the need for some type of clothing and shelter adapted to the part of the planet you inhabit. Other obvious physical needs are the need to rest and sleep regularly. You also need to exercise your muscles, or they will atrophy. Finally, you need a certain level of security or safety to survive physically. Emotional needs. Less obvious, but hardly less essential, are your emotional needs: to love and be loved, to have companionship, to feel that you are respected, and to respect others. You need sympathy and compassion from others, and you need to express your own sympathy and compassion for them. When you do well, you need recognition, appreciation, and congratulations. When you don't do so well, you need forgiveness and understanding. You need outlets for your sexual drive, a need that is physical on the hormonal level, but is a quest for intimacy and belonging on the emotional level. Intellectual needs. Your mind needs information, stimulation, and the challenge of problems to solve. You have an innate need to comprehend and understand the people and events around you. You need variety, recreation, and playtime. You have a drive to accomplish things. You need to grow and to change. You need the freedom to honestly express your thoughts, and you need authentic, consistent responses from others. Social needs. You need to interact with others, and sometimes you need to be by yourself and not interact with others. You need useful employment, a role in society that helps define your identity and makes some kind of positive contribution to others. You need to feel that you belong to a group. On the other hand, you also need autonomy, to be self-determined and to make your own choices. Spiritual, moral, and ethical needs. You have a need to seek meaning in your life. You want to know what the universe is for in. 174. Asking for what you want. Why humans are in it. You need some way of putting a value on your own life. You need to believe in God, in people, in love, or in some other higher value. You seek to figure out and live by your own standards of behavior. Needs versus wants. The difference between needs and wants is one of degree. At one end of the spectrum are life and death needs like the need for food and water. If these needs aren't met, you will literally perish. At the other end of the spectrum are the most minor and whimsical wants. These are luxury items that contribute to your comfort, but are not essential to your survival. You may have a craving for pistachio ice cream with caramel sauce, but you won't die if you don't get it. Somewhere in the middle of the spectrum is the dividing line between needs and wants. It is in this middle ground that people with low self-esteem get into trouble. If you have low self-esteem, it's hard enough for you to pursue survival needs. But your less vital needs and wants seem unimportant, particularly if they conflict with someone else's. Moreover, you tend to identify essential needs as mere wants and neglect to satisfy them. You think that you're being a stoic and foregoing comfort for the sake of others, but actually you're an unwitting martyr to your low self-esteem. You're not merely uncomfortable, you're surrendering important emotional, social, intellectual, or spiritual needs for fear of hurting or offending someone. For example, you might stay at home every night instead of enrolling in night school because you think that your absence in the evenings would be a hardship on your family. Although you'd really like to get a degree, you don't feel that you deserve to take so much time and energy away from your family. So you never ask, and you feel an increasing sense of entropy and stagnation. The fact is that you have a strong, genuine, and legitimate need to learn, change, and grow. You are stifling yourself and causing yourself real suffering by incorrectly labeling your genuine need as an unnecessary indulgence. The dividing line between a need and a want varies within each person. Sometimes you absolutely need to talk to someone about a perplexing personal problem, while at other times the same problem seems less pressing, something you merely want to solve, but can postpone working on until later. Likewise, you may have lower need thresholds in some areas than you have in others. For example, you may have very strong 175 self-esteem, emotional needs, but relatively weak intellectual ones. You may feel compelled to get close to people in a large, nurturing circle of relatives and friends, but have very modest ambitions where your job is concerned. Or vice versa. You are the only one who can judge the relative strength of your needs and wants. If you feel that something you want is important for you, then it is important and you have a right to ask for it. It doesn't matter if everyone else in the world thinks that what you want is a mere luxury item. For you, it's a critical need and you're not going to be happy until you ask for and get it. For the purpose of this chapter, and the purpose of raising your self-esteem, from here on we will refer to all needs and wants as wants, and assume that they are all important and legitimate. If you find yourself saying, well, I'd really like to have this, but I don't really need it, remind yourself of two things. 1, you have a right to ask regardless of whether you need or merely want something, and 2, as a sufferer of low self-esteem, you might not know an intense need if it bid you. Wants inventory. This inventory is designed to raise your awareness of your wants. Complete the following questionnaire. In column A, put a check mark next to the items that are applicable to you. In column B, rate the items you have checked from 1 to 3, as 1. Mildly uncomfortable. 2. Moderately uncomfortable. 3. Extremely uncomfortable. Check here if the item applies to you. B. Rate from 1 to 3 for discomfort. What? I have trouble asking for. Approval from. Approval for. Help with certain tasks. More attention or time with my mate. Someone to listen and understand. Attention to what I have to say. Dates with people I find attractive. 176. Asking for what you want. Job interviews. Promotions or raises. Service from clerks or waiters. Respect. Time by myself. Satisfying sexual experiences. Time to play and have fun. Variety, something new and different. Time to rest. Forgiveness. Answers to some nagging questions. Companionship. Permission to make my own choices. Acceptance of who I am by others. Acceptance of my mistakes. Other. WHO. I have trouble asking for what I want from my parents. Fellow workers. Classmates. Students, teachers, clients. clergy, religious authorities, my spouse or mate, strangers, friends, acquaintances, civil servants, my boss or superiors at work, relatives, employees, children, older people, salespeople and clerks, lovers, authority figures, a group of more than 2 or 3 people, a person of the opposite sex. 177. Self-esteem. A person of the same sex, other. When I have trouble asking for what I want when I want help. Asking for service. Asking for a date. Making an appointment. I need a favor. Asking for information. I want to propose an idea. I feel guilty. I feel selfish. Asking for cooperation. Negotiating from a one-down position. A lot of people are listening. Others, tempers are high. I'm upset. I'm afraid of looking stupid. I'm afraid the answer will be no. I might look weak. Tilde __ other. Evaluation. Look over your inventory and notice the sorts of things you want most, the people from whom you want them, and in what situations your needs are most acute. You will probably notice patterns, certain needs that you never ask anybody for, certain people from whom you can't ask the simplest favor, or problematic situations in which your self-esteem and assertiveness desert you entirely. Wants in 2 words. The most important skill in asking for what you want is formulating an assertive request. If asking for things is hard for you, it's wiser to prepare your request in advance, rather than to say what comes to mind spontaneously. Preparing an assertive request first involves getting the facts and then distilling them into a clear statement of your wants. Here are the facts you need. 178. Asking for what you want. From. Write down the name of the person who can give you what you want. If there are several people from whom you want the same thing, write out separate requests for each of them. I want. Spell out what you want the other person to do. Stay away from abstractions like, show respect, or, be honest. Don, T ask for a change of attitude or level of interest. Instead, specify exact behavior. I want to have an equal vote in choosing a daycare provider, or, I want Joe to tell me the real reason he keeps postponing our wedding and where he gets all the money he throws around. When. Indicate the deadline for getting what you want, the exact time of day you want someone to do something, or the frequency with which you want something, any aspect of time that will help narrow down and refine your request. For example, you might want help cleaning the house every week. Be specific and write, every Saturday morning right after breakfast. Where. Write down the places where you want something, any aspect of location that will serve to precisely define what you want. If you want to be left alone when you are in your den, specify that place is your special place to be alone. With. Specify any other people who have to do with your request. For example, if you want your husband to stop teasing you about your forgetfulness in front of his relatives, spell out all the relatives' names. This outline is designed to help you specify exactly what it is you are requesting, the desired behavior, the time, the place, and the situation. When you clarify these facts in advance, your request will be so specific that negotiation will be easier and arguments less likely. Holly had hoped that Al would help edit her article on pain management. Occasionally after dinner she would vaguely mention some of the problems she was having organizing the material. Al would listen while popping a videocassette into the VCR and adjusting the TV. He consistently failed to pick up on her hints. Here's Holly's outline of the facts regarding her request. 179. From. I want. When. Where. With. Self-esteem. Al. Help editing my article, going over the contents and the organization page by page. After dinner on Thursday for 3 hours. And if we don't finish, again on Saturday morning. In the study, where all my materials are, and away from the TV. Al alone. Randy prepared his request to deal with his brother's caustic sense of humor. Jim had a tendency to make fun of Randy's clothes. His job, his shyness with women, and so on. This was a particular problem during family gatherings when their dad was present. Here is Randy's fact outline. From. I want. When, where, with. Jim. No more jokes or remarks about my clothes, job, or social life. A real conversation about recent events in our lives, usually over dinner. Get-togethers at Dad and Mom's house. Dad particularly. Now it's time to make your own request outline. From your wants inventory, choose 3 things that you want from 3 different people. Be sure to choose items that you rated only mildly or moderately uncomfortable. Tougher, more anxiety-provoking confrontations on your list should be dealt with later. For each want, fill in the facts for your request outline. From. I want. When. Where. With. Distilling the assertive request. Now it's time to prepare assertive requests that condense the basic facts in your 3 outlines into a brief statement about your wants. Holly's assertive request turned out like this. 180. Asking for what you want. Al, I really need some help from you to edit my pain control article. I'd like to go over the content and organization with you on a page-by-page basis. Could we get together after dinner Thursday for a 3-hour editing session in the study? And if we don't finish, polish it off Saturday morning. Randy's assertive request took this form. Jim, I'd really appreciate it if you could go easy on the jokes about my clothes and social life and such. It's particularly hard for me when we're with Dad at family dinners. It would feel better if we could really talk a bit about how we're doing and what's been going on lately for each of us. Notice how specific Holly's and Randy's requests are. Every important fact in their request outlines has been included. There's no guesswork, no uncertainty for the other party, because their wants are clear. There's a much greater chance for compliance or working out a compromise. Write your own assertive requests before going on to the next section. Whole messages. Often it isn't enough just to say what you want. People need to know more of the background for your request. They need to know your perspective or understanding of the problem. It may also be helpful for them to know your feelings, how the situation or problem has affected you emotionally. When you offer your thoughts, how you perceive the situation, your feelings, and your want statement, this is called a whole message. Whole messages promote intimacy and mutual acceptance. People are less likely to ignore your wants when they are aware of your feelings and perspective on a situation. It's rather abrupt and possibly quite irritating to say to a friend, I want to get out of here. It's better to deliver a whole message like this. The party's packed wall to wall. I feel kind of claustrophobic. Mind if we leave? This will get a much more sympathetic response. When you leave your experience of a situation or your feelings out of a request, people may feel pressured to do something, but they won't know why. They're more likely to argue or use anger to push you and your wants away. That's why it's important, particularly in close relationships, to let people know where your wants are coming from, to give them a window on your full experience of a situation. 181. Self-esteem. Your thoughts. Your thoughts are your perceptions, your understanding of a situation. You explain your experience of what is happening and how you interpret it. Holly and Randy provide examples of how thoughts give background to requests. Holly's thoughts. When you adjust the TV while I'm asking your advice, I wonder if you're really interested in helping me or whether it's too big a hassle. Randy's thoughts. In your jokes I always end up seeming very stupid. And I imagine that's what you think of me. Your feelings. Feelings help the listener have empathy for your experience in a situation. The best way to express your feelings is in the form of iMessages. In iMessages, you take responsibility for your emotions. You say, I felt hurt. I was a little angry. I felt left out. I was saddened. I was disappointed. I felt mainly confused. This is in contrast to you messages, which are accusatory and pejorative and dump all responsibility for your feelings on the other person. You hurt me. You made me angry. You left me out. What you did depressed me. You disappointed me. You confused me. Notice that you messages tend to make people defensive and hostile, while I messages seem less confrontational and tend to elicit concern. Holly expressed her feelings toward Al like this: I feel hurt when you don't seem interested. Randy's feelings toward his brother took this form: I feel embarrassed in front of Dad and a little angry. 182. Asking for what you want. Putting it together. Whole messages are very compelling. It's time to generate whole messages of your own to complete your 3 assertive requests. The format is very simple. I think, my understanding, perceptions, interpretations. I feel, I messages, only. I want distilled from your request outline. Here is Holly's whole message. When you adjust the TV while I'm asking your advice on the article, I wonder if you're really interested in helping me. Then I feel hurt. I really need your help with the editing. I'd like to go over the content and organization with you on a page-by-page basis. Could we get together after dinner Thursday for a 3-hour editing session in a study? And if we don't finish, polish it off Saturday morning. Here is Randy's whole message. When you kid me about my clothes or my dates at family dinners, your jokes make me sound pretty stupid. And I imagine that's what you really think of me. I feel embarrassed in front of Dad and a little angry. I'd really appreciate it if you'd go easy on the jokes. It would feel better if we could talk about how we're doing and what's been going on lately for each of us. Here are some shorter examples of wants expressed in the form of whole messages. I think I do more than my share of the work around here. I feel resentful when I'm working and you're reading the paper or watching TV. I want you to help me with setting the table and doing the dishes after meals. I think George and I have a lot in common. I enjoy being out with him, and I'm getting to like him a lot. I want to invite him to dinner next week and have you help me make some lasagna. I don't think your cousin is a very good mechanic. I feel obligated to take my car to him because he's family, but I get really pissed off when he can't fix things right the first time. The clutch is slipping again, and this time I want to take it to the shop downtown. I think Casablanca is Bogart's best movie. I've always been attracted to his bittersweet, impossible love for Bergman. Let's go see it tonight. 183. Self-esteem. When I tell you how hard my day was with the baby, you usually tell me that you had just as hard a day at work. Then sometimes I start to feel like you didn't hear me. I feel a little angry because I don't get to really tell you what's going on. When I complain about my day, it would feel really good if you heard me out for a while and then let me know that you understand how tough it is sometimes. The case you're giving me is important, but I have 3 cases on my desk that are ready to go to trial. Frankly, I feel overwhelmed. I'm stressed to the limit. Can you possibly assign this to somebody else? Rules for requests. Work on your 3 requests until they are as clear, direct, and uncritical as possible. Then try them out on the people who can give you what you want. To help you in perfecting your requests, here are some rules for asking. 1. If possible, get the other person to agree on a convenient time and place for your conversation. 2. Keep your requests small enough to avoid massive resistance. 3. Keep your requests simple, just 1 or 2 specific actions for the other person to understand and remember. 4. Don't blame or attack the other person. Use iMessages so that you will stick to your own thoughts and feelings. Try to be objective, stick to facts. Keep your tone of voice moderate. 5. Be specific. Give exact figures and times for what you want. Don't hedge. Don't make a lot of conditions. Describe what you want in terms of behavior, not a change in attitude. 6. Use assertive, high self-esteem body language. Maintain eye contact. Sit or stand erect. Uncross your arms and legs. Make sure that you're close enough. Speak clearly, audibly, and firmly, without a whining or apologetic tone to your voice. Practice your requests in front of a mirror to correct problems in your body language. You can also listen to your request on tape to evaluate your voice tone and inflection. 7. Sometimes it's helpful to mention the positive consequences of giving you what you want. You could also mention the negative consequences of denying your request, but the positive approach works better. As the old adage has it, you're likely to catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. 184. Asking for what you want. When you have perfected your requests and practiced them in the mirror, go ahead and make them in real life. Taking that step will not be easy, but it will be very rewarding. Start with the least threatening person first. After you have made your prepared requests, go back to your list and prepare some others, still saving the most discomforting confrontations for last. This is one area in which practice does make perfect and success builds upon success. As you work through your list of wants, you will soon find that you don't have to argue with yourself so much about whether a particular desire is reasonable or legitimate. You will need to spend less time rehearsing your requests. You will begin to see what you want more clearly and to ask for it spontaneously and directly. You'll be surprised at how often people will simply say yes to a clear, non-judgmental request. You will reap double benefits by getting what you want and gaining more self-confidence as well. 185.11. Goal setting and planning. Whatever you can do, or dream you can, begin it, Goethe said. This chapter is all about setting a course for change, dreaming and then doing. There are few greater sources of human pain than the feeling of stagnation or immobility. And there are few greater blows to self-esteem than really wanting something without ever achieving it. A strong self-concept depends as much on what you do and make, as on your idea of yourself. You can silence the pathological critic, you can rewrite self-denigrating thoughts in gentler, more supportive tones, but if you feel helpless in the face of your dreams and needs for change, then you may never fully accept yourself. Strong self-esteem depends on two things. The first is what most of this book has been about, learning to think in healthy ways about yourself. The second key to self-esteem is the ability to make things happen, to see what you want and go for it, literally to create your own life. Feeling paralyzed and helpless makes you hungry and dissatisfied with life. Action and goal-oriented change make you feel strong and in control. Self-esteem. What do you want? The process of finding out what you want is the first step in goal setting. There are 8 main categories you need to investigate to get a clear picture of your wants and needs. They are 1. Material goals, wanting a new car or a backyard deck. 2. Family and friends, improving relationships or having more quality time. Educational, intellectual, professional goals. Health, getting exercise or lowering cholesterol. Leisure, more time camping or taking walks. N. L. G. Equals W. Spiritual goals, learning to meditate or acting more on your values. 7. Creative goals, taking up watercolor painting or planting a garden. 8. Emotional, psychological growth, wanting to control an anger response or increase risk-taking. With these categories in mind, now is the time to answer 4 key questions. Question 1. What hurts or feels bad? Think about each of the above categories as they apply to your life. Ask yourself if there are any painful feelings or difficult situations associated with them, which you would like to change. A young grocery store clerk made the following list in response to this question. 1. Fighting with Brian, 4-year-old son. 2. My dingy apartment. 3. Spending a lot of the weekend with my mother, an Alzheimer's patient. 4. Tendinitis in my wrist. 5. Long commute to work. 6. Loneliness in the evening. Go ahead and make your own list in the space provided. Write down everything you can think of in the left-hand column, labeled, What Feels Bad. 188. Goal setting and planning. What feels bad corresponding goal 1-1. 2-2. 3-3. 4-4. 5-5. 6-6. You've finished half the task. Now it's time to translate negative feelings into positive goals. Think of at least one concrete thing you could do to change each item in the left-hand column. Make sure it's possible, and that it involves a specific strategy or action on your part. Here's how the grocery checker completed the exercise. What feels bad corresponding goal. 1. Fighting with Brian 1. Use timeout strategy. 2. My dingy apartment 2. Buy curtains and posters. 3. Spending weekend with 3. Keep visits to 1-hour mother. 4. Tendinitis 4. Get brace from MD 5. Long commute 5. Use tax refund to move. Equals 6. Loneliness in evening. Phone friends after Brian is in bed. Question 2. What are you hungry for? This is a chance to once again look back over the 8 categories and think about what you yearn for. What would make a difference in the quality of your life, your overall well-being? A hotel manager developed the following list in response to this question. 1. More time with the kids. 2. A chance to play more music. 3. More time in the outdoors. 189. Self-esteem. 4. Scheduled periods of solitude. 5. A better sexual relationship with Ellen. Go ahead and list the things you hunger for in the space below. 1. 2. 3. Question 3. What are your dreams? Again, review the 8 categories and use them to create a list of things you've always wanted to do, or change, or become. Don't worry if some of the dreams seem impractical or beyond your reach right now. Just put down whatever comes to mind. A 30-year-old massage therapist made the following list. 1. Become a physical therapist. Write a screenplay. Make a Japanese garden. Find a life partner. Q1 equals W. N. Move back to Tennessee. 6. Start an organic farm. List your dreams, the things you've long wished for, in the space below. 1, 2, 3. 190. Goal setting and planning. Question 4. What are the little comforts? For the last time, review the 8 categories to find small things that would make your life more comfortable, pleasurable, or easier. This should be a big list. Do a lot of brainstorming to think of as many items as possible, at least 30. Some may be expensive, but most should be inexpensive or cost nothing at all. Here are some of the items from a math professor's list. Underscore. A really cozy reading chair. Cable TV. A faster modem. A good novel. Working Man's Dead CD. Move my desk near the window. Good heater for bedroom. Registered. N. At. A. W. D. Brighton kitchen, paint cabinet doors. Go ahead and make your own list below. 30 items seems like a lot of work, but it will pay off later when you have a lot of helpful ideas for adding little comforts to your life. 1. 16. 2. 17. 3. 18. 4. 19. 5. 20. 5. Selecting goals to work on, the first cut. It's time to make a preliminary selection of goals you would like to work on. At any given time you should be working on at least one long range, one medium range, and one immediate goal, something you can accomplish in a few hours or less. Go through the lists you made under each of the 4 questions. Choose 4 long-range goals, something that might take months or years to accomplish. Then choose 4 medium-range goals, something you could do in weeks or a few months. And finally, select 4 immediate goals. Write them in the space below. Long-range goals 1, 2, 3. Goal setting and 192. Goal setting and planning. Selecting goals to work on, the evaluation. Now you should evaluate the 12 goals you selected to see which ones would be best to pursue right now. You can evaluate your goals using 3 tools. First, rate the intensity of desire for each goal on a 1 to 10 scale. A rating of 1 would mean that you had hardly any desire to pursue the goal, while a rating of 10 would indicate a passionate commitment. Write the numerical rating next to each goal. Now it's time to evaluate the costs inherent in the pursuit of each goal. How much time, effort, stress, or money would be involved in trying to reach a given goal. Rate the costs associated with each goal on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 would be minimal cost, while 5 would indicate a great expenditure of time, effort, money, or the like to reach the goal. Write the cost rating in a different color ink next to each goal. Now it's time to look at blocking factors. These are significant obstacles that stand in the way of the goal. For example, the need for more education or special training, fear, disapproval, people, or institutions that are impediments, and so on. Rate the blocking factors for each goal on a 1 to 5 scale. Once again, a rating of 1 indicates minimal blocking factors, while a rating of 5 suggests some major obstacle. Looking back on your 12 goals, you should now have 3 ratings for each: intensity of desire, costs, and blocking factors. A good way to evaluate your goals is to subtract the sum of the costs and blocking factors from your intensity of desire rating. For example, suppose you would like to construct a Japanese garden. Your intensity of desire is a 6, but the costs are a 4, and blocking factors are also a 4. With an overall rating of -2, it's quite likely the garden will never be built, not as long as costs and blocking factors outweigh your desire. Try to analyze each of your goals using this formula. Any goal that has a positive number probably has a chance. Obviously, the higher the number, the better the chance. The math professor, for example, who wanted a faster modem did the following analysis. Intensity of desire, 7, costs, 2, blocking factors, 1. Costs and blocking factors added up to only 3, so the goal ended up with an overall rating of +4. When the evaluation process is complete, circle 1 goal each from the long range, medium range, and immediate list. This is where you'll invest your greatest efforts toward making changes in your life. 193. Self-esteem. Making your goals specific. It's time to identify the what, when, where, and with whom of the goals you've selected. Some of this will be easy. On immediate goals, for example, all you have to do is write a specific date and time in your appointment book when you'll undertake the task. For example, Tuesday, August 23rd, 9 a.m. Order cable TV, or Thursday, June 10th, 6 p.m. Bookstore to get novel. You should try to accomplish at least 1 immediate goal per week. These easy, short-term goals give you an emotional boost and can mobilize you to do bigger things. The medium and long-range goals need a bit more planning. One of the best ways to develop such plans is the following exercise. Making mental movies. This technique allows you to visualize yourself having achieved a goal, and then review the concrete steps you took to reach it. To make mental movies. 1. Get into a comfortable position and perform your favorite relaxation exercise to calm your body and mind. At the very least, take several deep, diaphragmatic breaths. Let your whole body relax with each exhale. 2. Close your eyes and allow your mind to become passive and receptive. 3. Imagine a TV screen. Picture yourself on the screen in a video, having just successfully achieved your goal. Watch and listen to yourself enjoying your success. 4. Run the video backwards for about 10 seconds. See and hear what you did that led to accomplishing your goal. If you go over 10 seconds without getting any clear images, take a deep breath, stretch, and go back to the end of your video. Once again, roll it backwards for 10 seconds. Continue this sequence until you see and hear vivid scenes of the steps you took to fulfill your desire. 5. Ask yourself, is it possible for me to do these things to accomplish my goal? If you really want to achieve your goal, you may have to try something new, something out of the ordinary for you. If you can see the necessary steps, go on. If you can't, return to the blank video screen and run another video. 194. Goal setting and planning. 6. Now step into the video. Live through the scenes leading up to your success. Imagine yourself doing, saying, and experiencing all the steps that you will take. 7. Come back gradually to the present time, feeling refreshed, confident, and resolved to take the first step. Open your eyes. Listing the steps. Now that you've used visualization to see yourself accomplishing the goal, it's time to write the steps down in black and white. First, write down the specific elements of your goal. Then list the steps with a time frame for accomplishing each one. Let's use the goal, spend more time with the kids, as an example. Here's how the steps were developed. I want to spend Saturdays most of the day, plus Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings after homework, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. With my kids. Also, special outings, museums, etc. 2 Saturdays a month. Steps including time frame. 1. Quit tutoring job Saturday a.m. 2 weeks. 2. Get list of kid activities and Sunday examiner each week. 3. Family meeting about making, family time, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Emphasize no TV rule after 7:30, homework finished before 7:30. Meet this Wednesday night. 4. Plan special game night each week. Some goals require many more steps just to get them off the ground. Here are the first month's steps for becoming a physical therapist. 1. Identify all PT programs in area. Find out prerequisites for PT schools. Get loan information. Check with boss about the possibility of working part-time. Discuss with parents the possibility of helping with tuition. Send for applications. N. G. W. N. Find 3 people to write letters of recommendation. Notice that the steps are specific, concrete, and behavioral. They map out exactly what the individual needs to do to start the ball rolling. On a separate piece of paper, write out the steps for your medium and long-range goals. 195. Self-esteem. Making a commitment. Make a commitment to a friend or family member about your medium and long-range goals.